Hello again, I'm Roger Gregg of Crazy Dog Audio Theatre Company based in Dublin, Ireland. We produce radio dramas and radio comedies, both live and in studio. And in answer to a lot of queries we've gotten over the past 9 years of our existence, all about our sound effects and the gadgets we use and different techniques and so on. So to answer some of those, I'm here to demonstrate some of the gadgets we use. Well, where to begin? This is a sound effect, in case you're confused. It's a sound effect, that's what it says. I write that on things, they make jokes about it because people pick it up and they don't know what it is and where do you find it, but only in the bin. You have to take it out of the bin and say, no, silly person, we actually need this thing. It's not a piece of junk, it's a tool. This thing is called a slapstick. It's where we get the expression slapstick comedy. It was used quite a bit in American vaudeville and in circuses and things like that, and this is why they call it a slapstick, because it makes a slap noise. So it's if you need a very controllable, anybody can work it. It's just a piece of wood, plywood cut, and another piece cut, mounted on it with a hinge with a piece of rubber to keep it from slapping back all the way, and just a regular hinge there, and slap it. It's been used many times. This, I might have to stand up and get a wide shot of this. This is a whirly tube. You can find them now and again in kids' toy stores, ridiculously cheap, like 90 cents or €1, or that's about $1.20, I think, in American money. And all you do is you whirl it around, and by pulsing the speed of the rotation up and down, you can get the sound to flex and stuff. So again, as I've mentioned earlier in other contexts, when you're doing live comedy shows in front of live audiences, part of the fun and part of the comedy is getting to see the sound effects person or persons operate all these different kind of silly gadgets to make kind of silly noises. And if you had 2 or 3 of these things on the go from people in the cast, it's quite visually exciting to see, and the sound is quite out of the world, and it makes a great backdrop for some kind of, I don't know, science fiction comedy or ghost comedy or something. You heard the sound, let your imagination run with it, and you can see the kind of context it might be used in. This thing is called a wah tube. They come in different sizes. There, I've just triggered it now. It's basically a kind of tubular bell, kind of handheld, and it has a little hole here that you can cover, and I'll show you why. If I swing it, the sound is somewhat directional. I don't know if the stereo microphone here is picking up that effect or not. But it's we've used it in a play where every time a character has a light bulb, a realization moment, an awakening, it kind of happens. Okay. This is called a cocorico. It's a kind of Latin-y percussion device. This is a long one. It's unwieldy. Any short person will have trouble operating it, probably. We've tried to have certain people use it in the past, and they just couldn't get the handle on the long one because they needed quite a wider reach to make it, you know, kind of. And it can be used, well, in Latin percussion, rhythmically to a beat, but it can also be used to make those kind of, well, just the sound that you heard. This is a shorter one, and it's much more. You can get that kind of effect, almost like a roulette wheel, kind of going, slowing down. And again, it can be used like for music, just to create like a, I don't know, wacky adding machine or something, or an ensemble piece where various mechanical sounds are happening to produce a kind of percussive polyrhythmic kind of thing going on. That's very easy to use, that one. That's a small cocorico. This is a siren whistle, and it just does what it says on the tin. It's like that. And again, it's great for silly, farcical comedies. It's not for your heavy Othello Shakespearean drama, inadvisable. But if you're doing kind of a light, silly, slapsticky thing, this is, you know, this is a handy thing to have. And if you get good at it and you monkey around with it, the inhalation and exhalations both produce sounds, and you can almost get a kind of like a synthesizer thing going, where it's kind of a steady texture in the background, which could be used in like a mad scientist lab, or I don't know, you think up the context, but it's a kind of like a drill almost. And again, if you see a sound effects person doing it and it's a mad scientist drilling away or something, it heightens the comedy for a live audience. This, all the head cases out there probably know this is a Tibetan ritual bowl, and most people just go like that and go, wow, oh wow, you know, really kind of, it rings for a long, long time, but people in the know that you can, you do this with it, a slow, steady rotation on it starts getting all these harmonics to rise up out of the bowl. It's kind of a meditation thing. It's fun when you're working with actors in a workshop situation. You get someone to lie down on their back, and then another actor puts it on their stomach, the bowl, and starts doing this, and the vibrations go completely through the body. If you have like a sore back and you had one of these bowls and a willing accomplice, you could lie down, put this on your back, and have them do this, and it would just send this kind of, these little micro vibrations through your body, which are very relaxing. So as you can hear, that creates a very atmospheric, floaty, dreamy texture there, soundscape, a wash of sound, and releasing it. I mean, we'd be here for about 40 minutes waiting for that sound to completely go back to absolute zero. Very atmospheric. And they come in different sizes to produce different pitches, and again, it's a visual something. Many people, you can see the audience just being amazed, like, how do you stroke a bowl and make that happen? It just like freaks them out. There's a drum company called Remo that make a whole different kind of variety of drums, and among them are these things called spring drums. It's a drum, and it's got a diagonal cut across the bottom with the drum skin and the spring, hence spring drum. And the effect, I'll have to stand up for this one, is this. Hear that. Now that sounds like a tremendous thunder rumble. They come in different sizes, and if you smack the spring up against something while it's doing it, it gets like almost like a lightning or thunderbolt kind of effect. So if you're ever doing a live radio comedy version of the Terminator, when the Terminator comes from the future and arrives, you could use the spring drum or a big one like that to great effect. Well, stay tuned and we'll have more exciting sound effects. I'm Roger Gregg with CrazyDogAudioTheater.com.